Hello, everyone. You're watching the Amarian talk show, and this is season 5. And today I have an incredible guest, Dr. Dan Whitaker. Hi, Dr. Dan.
How are you doing this afternoon? It's wonderful to be here.
It's a wonderful day. Dr. Dan, can you tell us a couple of words about yourself, about you, how you came to wellness, and then we'll talk about wellness.
Absolutely. So my journey with wellness really started when I experienced my own personal setback and breakdown that happened in 2021. And at that time, I overextended myself, as often we as women do. We're dealing with so many things and trying to take on so many things in business, take care of our families, et cetera. And so I actually experienced a burnout. And so in order to recover from that, I incorporated wellness practices. I met with various doctors, and we came up with a plan that was actually very beneficial. And so it was a lifestyle redesign. I really had to take a step back and look at what I was doing in my lifestyle and what needed to be changed. And so by utilizing those wellness practices, I was able to recover and rebuild my mental resilience. So that's, one of the reasons why wellness is very important to me. And I feel like I'd like to share what I learned.
Can you please share a bit more about what practices helped you with what? Because burnouts is such a big topic right now. Because yes, nowadays women have to have it all. Like when I say have to, it's in bold and red. Because in fact, we don't have to do anything. That's what we think we have to do.
Right.
And because it's so big right now, can you share what exactly you've been doing? What exactly helped you?
Yes. So there are many things. And actually, it comes down to, like I said, doing a total lifestyle redesign, looking at what you're specifically doing. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. But I can share that breathwork is your best friend. And I feel as though breathwork really transformed my journey. And it was kind of a push in the positive direction. The thing about breathwork is it's, and I don't think everybody realizes this, is it's very easy to incorporate into your day. And as women and accomplished women and women who are, on the upward mobility and working towards success, we tend to not want to slow down. And we may not realize where we could incorporate these practices. And so for me, simple breathing techniques, I would incorporate 15 minutes before a very stressful situation or maybe an important meeting, with the dean of used to work at a university, so very important meeting. And so 15 minutes before, I would in my office close the door and just do 5 minutes of a breathwork session, and it really gives you that emotional reset of your nervous system, and it helps you to not deal with all of that heavy emotional burden that can allow you to break down. So over time, I think that incorporating all of these wellness practices into your life, your daily life, builds your resilience so that you're much more strong when these situations come up.
Definitely. Can we do 30-second practice right now?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the easiest breathwork practices is, you may have heard of it, is the box method. So it's they call it the box method because it's 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds. And so you just breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, release it for 4 seconds, and then hold again for 4 seconds. And that will literally reset your nervous system. And then you continue it a couple more times until you feel totally relaxed.
Perfect. Let's do it right now together.
Okay, you ready?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do the count.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Okay. 4, breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. 4, in, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1, out, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. And another thing I want to say about breath work is it actually signals to our brain when we control our breath and slow it down. It signals to our brain that we're safe to relax. And if we just continue and go on about our days and not take that simple step to reset and let your brain know, hey, it's okay to relax. Then, you eventually may break. And I will say this about when I had, my burnout, it was actually, I call it a breakdown, like a mental breakdown, because it was that bad. And I describe it as I was feeling like a rubber band was pulling, right? And we do this, we do this. Rubber band is pulling and just overextending and taking care of the kids, taking care of work, taking care of, all of the other things besides ourselves. And it was just pulling, pulling, pulling. And when I say pulling, I mean, for 40 years, I'm doing this, right? 40 years. And I remember the day it happened, and my rubber band snapped. It snapped, and I felt it. It just snapped. It just felt like I broke. And the first thing I did was pulled out my laptop. I emailed my therapist, and I said, I can't do this anymore. And it was just like overwhelming, just what came over me. And so, that's, like I said, that's when I started my wellness and recovery journey. And so I'm here now and trying to share with everyone else.
Wow. I just got one little insight. Do you mind me to share?
Absolutely.
You said for 40 years, you've been putting yourself, and we do it, everyone. I honestly, nowadays, I don't know any woman who's not doing it. Yeah.
Sad.
It's very sad. And recently I was reflecting on that. Why? And I came up with an answer. I don't know, will you agree with me or not? Because we always have this blueprint, this pattern, like it's generational pattern, I would say, that we have to do something instead of something that we want to do. So we do things that we think we have to do instead of doing something from our true selves, from our true desires. I've noticed one thing. When I'm making myself to sit and finish work, I have to finish it. Of course, next day I don't have energy, but if I will let myself, I had that day a couple of days ago. So it was very stressful. Now we're trying to, sell those tickets for Empower Her event. It's a process. It's a very big marketing process. And I'm there fully, I'm immersed there. And my team is texting me we don't have sales, something wrong with the ad, and I'm super stressful, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have massage. I don't want to.
As you should. Now, yes.
Right now, I'm 16 hours per day. I'm dealing with the event. I'm dealing with one project, with another project. And I'm going to burn out. I don't want to. And I just turned off my phone. I drove for 1 hour to get that massage, got 1 hour of massage, 1 hour from the massage, and that 3 hours.
Yes.
So what do you think happened when I came back home?
You felt refreshed.
I felt refreshed, and my team texted me oh, we just had 5 sales. I'm like, great.
Exactly.
Because I just let it go.
Let it go.
Like you said, reset. We definitely need that reset, because when we have that tension, what can happen? That we have that stiff energy, and nothing will go through that stiff energy. Nothing.
Yes. I'm so proud of you for doing that. It's so important. It's so important, because think about the alternative. If you just kept pushing, okay, we have to do this. We have to make these sales. We have to change the strategy. We have to, correct the ads or whatever you're doing. And if you didn't take that moment for yourself, you might have burnt out, and then it would be over.
Exactly.
Then you're not here to lead everyone else, because you're in bed, or you're sick, or you're, whatever else is happening. You have immense fatigue, or, whatever else is overcoming you, because you've allowed yourself to get to that breaking point. So very proud of you for doing that.
Thank you. But I just thought mothers do the same.
Absolutely.
Mothers do the same. They think about, I'm not a mother yet. It's my dream. But when I see other mothers, like my friends, my mother, and I just see they thinking about everyone but themselves.
Always.
And I'm the one who have to remind them, like, think about yourself. Just.
Yeah. And it took this breakdown for me to, for the first time ever, and this just happened, like I said, this is in 21, for me to say, okay, I need to prioritize me. And we hear all the time, okay, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't, we hear all of the, and they're true.
Yeah.
But whether or not you take it to heart and really act on that is another thing. And it can be detrimental if you don't. And, I found out the hard way.
Actually, to what you said, there was a study, I think it was a Harvard University, I'm afraid, Stanford or Harvard, one of them. So they made a study. People transform their lives. There are two ways how people can transform their lives. One way is through knowledge. But we're taking that path super rarely.
Yeah.
There is knowledge, and the knowledge has pros and cons, and one of them, it's a very long path. But the best thing, it's not painful. But the path that we usually take about your breakdown, about my burnouts, about all of us, the second path, it's quicker, but it's always through the pain.
Yeah.
And again, I think we live in such a great time where we can learn from knowledge, and knowledge is so accessible. Just imagine, before you had to go to that Harvard or Stanford or all those universities to get that knowledge. Right now, you can just turn YouTube on. You can come to the event that it's absolutely everyone can afford. You don't need to be special or have more than anyone to be able to afford that knowledge.
Right.
And that's incredible time we live in. Can you please share more about, and let's go to the knowledge part.
I want to say something about the knowledge piece. Very important. You're 100% right about the knowledge, but you also have to think about what good is the knowledge if you don't incorporate it? So you may know what you're supposed to do, 100%. what you need to do, but if you don't act on that,
nothing will happen. Agree.
It's almost like you didn't know.
Definitely.
So, or it could be worse, because it's like, okay, well, I knew I should have done that, but I didn't, and so now here we are. So I totally agree with you. Knowledge is key, but you have to take the actionable steps to improve your well-being.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, knowledge without... I remember in my early 20s, I read all possible books on self-development, but I was too lazy to incorporate them.
Overwhelmed. I wouldn't say lazy, because I do the same thing, and it's like information overload, right?
Yeah. And I think, when you're young, you also do not understand that you have to do that. Yeah, that's it, necessary to incorporate them, because just by knowing them, sometimes it changes. Actually, you can change your mindset, right?
Yes.
You can stop being a victim, because I had my huge, and I will share on the event, my huge breakdown when I started working with my victim syndrome, because we all have it, that victim mentality. And unfortunately, in a lot of cultures, it's normal to have that victim mentality. And we don't even know how that victim mentality can ruin everything in our lives. And I'm going to share with that during the Empower Her event. That's exactly what happened in my early 20s when I started reading those self-development books. And I thought, okay, I read them. Now it's going to work. But of course...
I'm good.
I'm good. I read it. But no, that's not how it works. So I absolutely agree with you.
It's kind of like that movie. What was that movie with, you know what I'm talking about? And he took that pill. What is his name? You know who I'm talking about?
No.
The good-looking guy.
They all good-looking.
I know. Oh my gosh, now it's going to bother me. I can't think of the name of the movie. But he took the pill, and then he was able to flip through a book, and then it.
Yes, I know, and everything. I know, and he could do everything with
He
that
learned
peel.
like looked at the book, flipped through the book,
Yeah.
and he learned languages. And
I know.
learned-
I understood the movie. Yeah.
God, what was that actor's
Yeah.
name?
I promise we will write down the movie's name if you don't know it.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Yes, but if only it worked that way. But yes, we do have to absorb and implement the things that we learn.
Definitely. And let's talk about that part.
Yes.
About wellness. How now you know how you came to wellness, and let's talk more about wellness.
Okay.
Why is it so important for us?
It's so important because, again, if we don't take care of our mental and emotional well-being, there's a mind-body connection. And so if our emotional well-being is not okay, it's going to impact our physical well-being. And it will, for instance, if you're harboring emotions that need to be processed, as an example, that will manifest in negative ways in your body. You'll hold stress in your body. It may manifest as depression, anxiety. It may also manifest as I mentioned, fatigue, illness. There's so many negative things that can happen if you don't take care of your mind. It will translate to your body. That's why it's extremely important.
And it's great to hear it from doctor. Because, people from all non-scientific areas of life been talking about that. But when you hear it from the actual doctor, you're like,
okay. I thought so. Yes.
Yes, I thought so. It's really stress.
Yes.
Yeah. So what tips do you have for us? Like for people that living their normal everyday life, going to work for like 8-10 hours per day.
Yeah.
How can we incorporate that in our lives?
Well, I'm going to talk a lot more and do a deep dive into all of these different wellness practices at the event, which I'm super excited about. But I would say to someone who's, maybe struggling or feeling overwhelmed right now, the first thing I would say to them is to slow down. You must slow down in order for you to be present. And you have to be present in order to get to the point where you're grounded and you can start self-reflecting to see what's needed so that you can implement those changes that can put you on the path to an improved, well-being and wellness. So slow down is the first thing. The next thing I would say is to take an emotional audit. And sometimes you may hear that as check in with yourself, but it's really important to audit how you're feeling at various times of the day. Like what am I feeling right now? What is weighing me down? Is there something that's, really bothering me? Because that's going to impact how I perform and how I show up every day. If there's something that is there that I'm not addressing or not processing. Yeah. So it's really important. And we forget, we do, we get busy. We get, especially women, because we're amazing. But we get so busy, we forget to do these things for ourselves. So take that emotional audit and pay attention to, this is super important. Pay attention to how you feel, how your body responds when you're around certain people. Or in certain places, or in certain situations. So important. And this has been impactful in my life as well, because we'll spend a lot of time around someone who is bringing us down. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but if you're in the presence of people who are constantly negative, say no more.
We've all been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if, for so long, I allowed it. And, the impact that has on your own emotional well-being, it's like swimming backwards. And so you actually, as harsh it may sound, you have to remove those people from your life. So it's important for your well-being and for your health. So because stress will literally kill you.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration. Absolutely. And so you have to prioritize yourself first. We have to prioritize ourselves as women.
I agree. And I actually have one situation that happened to me. I had a colleague, and she was extremely negative about everything. If you will tell her, look at the sun today, like look at the weather, she would be like, yes, it's extremely horrible. Have you seen that thing on the right? Like even like sunset. Look, this sunset is so beautiful.
It drained
it's
you.
too. Pardon?
It has drained you, right?
Of course, it drained me. One day, I was with her like maybe for 4 hours.
Yeah.
We were talking about something, and I left drained.
Yeah.
And I understood that I will never, ever meet this person again. I just made that decision. But it's very easy when it's some colleague or friend. But when those people are your relatives, for example, I think that's where challenge starts.
It's very challenging. I'm so glad you mentioned that because we're kind of like in this conundrum, like, what do I do? Okay, this is my family member of, this, or this is a friend I've had for 25 years.
Yeah.
How can I not be friends with them? But you have to, I reiterate this all the time, you have to think about yourself and your health. It's your health.
I agree.
And not just people, but like I said, places. There's certain places and situations. And if those situations or places and people create negativity in your body, it's going to have a ripple effect on your mental health in a negative way. So you just have to clear that out.
I've also noticed when I used to do something for work, let's say paperwork, and I hate it. And I can say that I hate paperwork. And but I had to do that when I was younger. I couldn't say, like, I wasn't the boss, right? I had to do that because that was my task. And I always noticed that I had very heaviness in my body. I can't explain that. I used to sit like this because, your body becomes heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I grew in my career, I had a chance to hire assistant. The first thing I gave to my assistant is paperwork because I'm like, I can't. That blocks my creative energy because I was a script writer for the TV show and I couldn't write. Yeah. I had to leave the office, go somewhere else because otherwise I would stuck with the paperwork.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with that. And I think everyone who watches this show right now can think about and person and place and maybe task that they were doing and that was affecting their body right away.
Absolutely. It affects you physically. And you mentioned like how your muscles would clench up. One of the other wellness practices that I'm going to be talking about, and one of my favorites, is the body scan. Have you heard of the body scan?
No.
Okay, so it's a meditation practice. And what you do, you can do it in 3-4 minutes. Again, these practices they're easy. You learn them, and you can do them anywhere. You can do it in your office. You can go in the bathroom. It's just so easy to incorporate. And so, but what you do is you're checking in with your body, part by part. And as an example, you may say, okay, pay attention to your jaw. Is it clenched? Is it tight? Pay attention to your left shoulder. Now your right shoulder. So you go down throughout your entire body. And as you're performing that, I find this with myself all the time, you'll see that you're holding tension in lots of areas of your body, in your muscles, and that's actual stress. And so when you do this body scan, it forces you to check in with what's going on and release that tension, which then releases that stress from your body. And it's so beneficial to do. And again, like I said, it's so easy and it's quick. So that's another wellness practice that we're going to be talking about and incorporating.
It sounds like Vipassana. Have you ever heard of Vipassana practice? It's 10 days retreat, a Buddha's retreat. So basically Buddha, like more than 2,000 years ago, created that retreat. And but you do that there every day for 11 hours. So when you said for 3 minutes, I'm like, we can do that. Guys, we can do that. 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been doing that for 11 hours per day in Vipassana.
Really?
In complete silence, yeah. You have to be in complete silence.
That's
so great.
Interesting. The other thing about these kind of like little snippets of wellness practices that I'm going to be talking about, what's important is that You just find a way to incorporate them. And so for some people, it may be incorporating your business life and your family life or your personal life, and then you notch out a little time for yourself. That may work for some people, that may not. And for others, it may be you take 3 minutes intermittently throughout the day, sporadically, and that's enough to give you that reset and that emotional reset to your nervous system that's going to help you build that resilience. So, like I said, it looks different for everybody, or for 11 hours.
Yeah, but no, that's a retreat. I'm saying that it's incredible that you can do that for 3 minutes. So there is a practice like that.
Yes.
When in 3 minutes, you can scan your body and understand, okay, if this is my back, and is there a correlation with psychosomatic? Because they say there is, I don't know, have you heard of psychosomatic studies? And they also show that, let's say, if you have a heavy back, that means, I don't know, you're doing this in life wrong, but that's a studies. That there is also psychological institutions that say that talk about that when you have heaviness in certain parts of your body or pain.
Okay. I would have to look at that map. I don't know off the top of my head the specifics of like which body part correlates to which type of stressor.
Yeah.
But, I do know that if you're holding the stress in your body, releasing it will help you to achieve what you're trying to achieve, which is that emotional balance and mental resilience.
I love it. And also, I know that you work with athletes.
Yes.
And you help athletes. Actually, it's incredible because back in Europe, I had a lot of friends, athletes, and I've always been talking about that they need some program that can help them after, like, the main sport, like their career, after life after career, because maybe not many people are aware of it, but the professional sport people, they have a lot of stress adapting to real life. Because just imagine, you've been controlled for some people forever, because some people start their careers at 6 years old, let's say at 10 years old, and they've been controlled, their schedule been controlled, everything they do, everything they eat. And just imagine 35, 40 years old, when sometimes even 30, because you can retire when you're 30 and 25. And that's it. You have all freedom in the world. You can do everything you want, but you don't know how.
So there's a couple layers to that. So one is, like you mentioned, everything has been structured for you for your entire life. And my specialty is actually in sport transition, primarily with football players. So, and I really understand the path of football players. A lot of them start as Pop Warner and they're little kids. And so they've been doing this, like you said, they've been doing this their entire lives, but everything is structured. They, well, not necessarily the little kids, but once they get to high school and college, they're in the training room at a certain time. They have breakfast at a certain time with the team. They go for their physical therapy. They go for practice. They go to team meetings. Everything is structured, and they're told exactly where to be, when to be. And they, have the camaraderie of their teammates, which is very important. It's like a family to them. They always have that. And then once they retire, everything is gone. And so it's not just the, feeling of what do I do? Because they didn't, everything was mapped out for them before. So they have to kind of relearn how to structure their lives. And without any instruction, by the way. Nobody ever trained them how to do that. Nobody ever said, hey, when you're done, you're going to have to figure out, X, Y, and Z, whatever's already being done for you now or structured for you and scheduled for you now. And so they really have to figure that out on the fly. That's one. But the second one, which is huge, is they lose their identities. Yeah. Because their entire identity is tied to who they are as an athlete. And it can be detrimental for a lot of athletes. Now, if they have different roles, or they have the ability to adapt, and that's really key. If they have the ability to adapt, it's easier for them once they transition because they say, okay, I'm not, a football player anymore. I'm not a basketball player anymore. I'm not a baseball player anymore. But I have started on this path to, whatever. Maybe they're planning on becoming a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, those are standard. But maybe they're investing in real estate. And so they have an idea of another role that they can pivot to because they kind of have that, that practice in doing other things. But if you're only this one thing and you block everything else out, and it's actually, there's a name for it, it's called identity foreclosure.
Oh, wow.
They don't even have the ability to fathom anything else. So they have identity foreclosure. Now that identity is pulled out, that rug is pulled out from under you.
Wow.
Who are you?
Who are you?
What do you do?
I'm having goosebumps. That's hard.
It's so
painful.
hard. It's so hard, and that's why there's a lot of depression and anxiety and these identity crises among athletes after they've retired. And just to add another layer to it, and this is especially for football because it's such an extreme sport, injury.
Yeah. Oh
So-
my God.
And I've seen so many situations where, athletes are injured during training camp. They haven't even gotten out there yet, and they're injured during training camp, or they're, we see it all the time where they have, the concussions in the games, and it's like that's CTE, that's a whole other conversation, but it can end very quickly and involuntarily, and you're not prepared, physically or emotionally or mentally. So it can be very hard for athletes. But going back to your original question, sorry, I went off on a
No, I
tangent.
love it. I love everything that is going on.
But going back to your original question, yes, I work with athletes and helping them with transition. But this past year, I was working with a particular athlete who was dealing with some, very extreme depression and anxiety after his transition he was a former NFL player. And it turned into alcohol abuse. So it wasn't at first, but it turned into that. And it got very bad. And then it started to impact his physical health, and so his, I don't want to be too traumatic, but because his organs started to shut down. And it's like, this is too much. So I'm kind of watching this happen, but feeling helpless, like, well, how can I help him, right? What can I do to help him? And so, I'm suggesting all the things, and, there's this rehab, the NFL pays for your rehab. You don't even have to come out of pocket. There's all these different things. I'm suggesting therapy. I don't want to talk to everybody. How is that going to help? So I'm just racking my brain trying to figure out, well, how can I help him? And one of the things that actually did help him when he was dealing with, because when he would drink, he would then have intrusive thoughts, which became very bad and kind of, I don't want to say kind of freaking out. And so that's when I realized, okay, calming him down was the only thing that would kind of stop that, right? And so I was trying to figure out ways to calm him down. And the first thing I would tell him every time he called me and I picked up the phone, and I would say, just breathe. And that's when I started, doing more research into the breath work, because I realized how important the breath is in calming you down. And calming is what we're going for in this particular situation, right? So that's where the breath work really came into play. And so I would, over time, I would just walk him through breathing exercises because he's practically hyperventilating when he calls me. And then I say, just breathe. And then we go through the breathing exercises, calm him down, and then, he's okay. Now, I can't, breathe someone out of drinking. So, and obviously with something like alcoholism or alcohol abuse, you need, ultimately, I think you need medical assistance because there are other things that need to take place. But in trying to offer alternatives for healthier coping mechanisms for him, because, when you're drinking, you maybe trying to, it's an unhealthy coping mechanism. You're trying to deal with something, and that's
your pattern. That's how you, that's your tool, how you dealing with the trauma, with like
whatever it is. You're
whatever
trying
it
to
is,
forget it, or you're trying to drown it out, or you're trying not to think about it. So you try to drink it away, and that it just snowballs. It becomes it becomes out of control. So I started searching for different therapeutic modalities that could help him to calm his mind, and also to help reset his nervous system, and then help him to go down a journey of self-reflection, which is important in the bigger scheme of things when you're trying to combat things like alcoholism and depression and anxiety. Because you could say, okay, well, the depression and the anxiety is what's causing the alcoholism or whatever. Everything is interrelated, right? And so you want to mitigate anything that is negatively impacting you, either physically or mentally. So I came across equine therapy. Oh my gosh. Equine therapy is amazing. Are you familiar with it?
No, I want to know more.
Okay, so and equine therapy is it's an alternative form of therapy where you are interacting with horses.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course.
And so while you're interacting with these horses, they're just amazing. They're amazing. They are so highly intuitive, and they reflect back to you what you're emitting. So they can feel your, whatever your nervous system is putting out. It's almost like they're like biofeedback machines. So they are, whatever a biofeedback machine is obviously going to just show you what your nervous system is doing. You may not know, it's internal. So if you are, there are various biofeedback machines where there's a monitor, and it'll, you can attach to yourself and you can see like, okay, what's my heart rate? You can also use things like Fitbit or Apple Watch, different technologies. But basically the biofeedback is feeding back to you what your nervous system is doing. And the horses do the same thing because they're mirrors. And they reflect back to you. And so what's really beneficial about the equine therapy also is that the people that participated in it, they learn how to better understand themselves through that self-reflection. And then from that point, they're able to kind of see the things that are blockages in their lives, or maybe things that are detrimental to their lives that they may not have seen before, because now they're self-reflecting and they're really in tune with themselves in conjunction with the horse that they're working with. It really helps with emotional healing and also with emotional growth.
I love it. Did it help him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny. I have
was
to tell you
so
this.
worried.
No, I have to tell you this. This is kind of funny. The first time, because I was telling him about it, and, the thing about equine therapy is it's really hard to understand until you actually do it. It's hard to explain, too. I mean, I think I did a good job explaining it.
Yeah.
But until you actually do it, that's when you really understand the impact. But when the first time he went into the arena, and he's because you're there with a psychotherapist and with an equine specialist. So the equine specialist is really interpreting, because the horses have certain behaviors there. It's like they can talk through certain behaviors. Like when they pin their ears, that means something. When they flick their tails, that means something. So together, you're working with this team, and it is psychotherapy. It's just an alternative form. He said, before he went in, he said, "I'm not touching an effing horse." And he went in there, and I was watching from afar because, I couldn't go in during the therapy session, but I looked over and I saw him smiling. I saw him connecting with the horse. And so I was just, this feeling came over me like it's working, just like I thought it would. Like it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do and what I hoped for. The first thing he said when he came out is, "I get it now." And I was like, okay. And he said, I want to come back every week. I want to bring my son. Aww. It's like, and I was like, okay, can I do this for everybody? Can everybody experience this? And I'll be honest with you, I created or developed or curated, however you want to say it, well-equined for former athletes because there's a need, right? And there's a need that's not being addressed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I can talk about this forever. I'm sorry. But what's special about equine therapy, I'm going to try to not cover too much right now, but there are equine therapy programs currently for veterans, for former military, for first responders, people dealing with trauma, for other groups, people who have been sex trafficked, dealing with different traumas, but there's no equine therapy programs for athletes. And that's where I said, okay, I have to figure out how to bring this program to them, at least so that it's accessible, so they know about it, they know the benefits, because it can really, really help them. But what I was going to say is, it can help you, it can help me, it can help everybody, because it's really beneficial for all of us. The other thing about equine therapy that makes it really special is sometimes people who don't resonate with traditional therapy, like he was originally saying, when I first told him to go see a therapist, let's figure out what's going on, why the drinking started increasing and all this. He says, well, what good's talking to somebody going to do? How's that going to help? Yeah. A lot of people, especially athletes, have that feeling, that mentality. They may have an aversion to just that traditional sit-down talk therapy. But equine therapy has been proven to resonate with people who have that aversion to traditional talk therapy. So that's another reason why it's really beneficial for athletes who fall into that category, a lot of them. But then also, you're in nature.
Yeah.
You're outside. You're connecting with nature. This is another layer that is actually a wellness practice that's going to help you to reset your nervous system, build emotional resilience, so that all of this is happening at the same time. And if that wasn't enough, the horses in and of themselves, just being around horses naturally makes you become in a calm state because of the electromagnetic waves that are emitting from their hearts. Their hearts are so much larger than ours. The electromagnetic waves extend out 8 meters, I believe it is, 8 meters. And so this is because they're herd animals, so they kind of communicate with themselves and each other through these electromagnetic waves. And so when you're in the presence of a horse, their electromagnetic waves are going to connect with yours and lower your heart rate. So you're immediately going to become, yes, it's mind-blowing. You're immediately going to become in a more calm state just as soon as you enter their field.
I love it. That's magical.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is.
Wow.
Yeah.
We learned something new today. That's great. I love it. I've seen that on your page, but now I think I want to experience it as well. It sounds beautiful. Yes. I love horses. Yes. I love horse riding, but this is another level.
Yep, completely. You're connecting with that horse on a completely different level. And it's funny because when we have the equine sessions at the ranch, they deliberately do not do any on horse, or horse riding because of the relationship with the horse. So when you're sitting on their back,
of course, you're like dominating them,
right? Yeah, you have this different relationship. But when you're on the ground and you're kind of with them eye to eye, they want to connect with us as humans. Wow. They love to connect with us, and so it's so powerful, and it's just, I don't know, it just makes my heart melt. To
all I can say, thank you. I always say thank you to people like you that see, not just, see the niche and cover it. You saw the need for humanity, for people, for a group of people that that part was neglected because athletes, they entertain you, they give you that dopamine when you watch it. And that's it. When they retire, no one thinks of that. I'm talking from it sounds horrible. I'm talking from the perspective of 80% of people in the world, right? Yeah. But in fact, there is another story. Yeah. That's a human that helped you, entertained you, gave that dopamine, gave you that beautiful emotions when you were watching them. But now you are that person who've noticed that this person is suffering and helped and that person and all other athletes that is out there. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating that beautiful program for athletes.
Thank you.
And the last question for today. What is empowerment for you?
Oh, empowerment. Having the ability to inspire and to give someone something that can improve their lives. And specifically for the event, I'm so looking forward to being able to share these actionable strategies that can improve the lives of the women that are attending. And so it's really important to me to inspire.
And on this beautiful note, I want to say thank you for this show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to it and sharing with everyone. We all should benefit from incorporating these wellness practices, whatever they look like, whether it's the meditative practices, whether it's the therapy, equine therapy, whatever it is, we need to look out for ourselves and we need to prioritize ourselves first.
Agree. Beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a week.